It began to happen when Maria and Vincent altered their home to become a foster home. This is a requirement to set the stage for adoption, if so desired. Adoption was the plan. Maria and Vincent met their children in early August. They all got acquainted at the Taco Bell restaurant. Not very fancy, but it worked well. The three sisters thought this meet at Taco Bell was a real treat. It was a long-term commitment for Maria and Vincent. It was salvation for the three female children, aged at 7, 5 and 4 years. The three sisters were in foster care due to major neglect. Maria and Vincent dedicated themselves to help this sibling group catch up on their educational skills. The oldest would be a challenge, as she never attended kindergarten or first grade. The girls arrived almost immediately. Normally, a test weekend would occur to assure that the chemistry would work. Maria became a mom. Vincent became a dad. Due to the start of the school year looming in just 4 days, technicalities had to be taken care of quickly. What happened on Friday was very uncomfortable for all involved. But it was a must for the start of school on Monday. The girls had never received vaccinations. Vaccinations were required by the state to attend school. Crying and screaming was the case. The middle-aged daughter would always describe the syringes that were used as huge as a big cucumber. "How big is a big cucumber?" Vincent asked. "I don't know," the middle daughter replied. Vincent smiled and sighed. Maria was preparing the ice cream in the kitchen. Ice cream. Ice cream. They all screamed for ice cream. It was the band-aid to heal wounds. And it did. The children still were nervous. Finally having parents and living in a nice home. Their mindsets were based on experience. They expect to move to the next foster house after a certain period. They led nomadic lives, that's all they knew. There were a few dogs and a few cats. This in itself was an education. They learned about the balance of enjoying pets and being responsible for their welfare. Parents provide a great education. Parents work together with the school to provide a sound road to form children into the adults that would make them proud. Children do the same, but in their own naive ways. As long as they try. As long as we all try. They explained to the girls that they were special. "You didn't just happen for us. We seeked you out," Vincent explained to them. The three girls loved receiving their first toothbrush. The toothbrush gave them a sense of control in their new life. It was like a new game. "Dad," the middle daughter asked, "why do you drink that beer? It's disgusting." "I like beer." "Why do you say it's disgusting?" "I never liked it," she stated. "How would you know?" Vincent asked. "We had to drink it every night to make us go to sleep," she said. Many bizarre revelations would come forward over time. When middle daughter was asked about how many dogs she had, she would say 5. However, 2 of the 5 were deceased. As adults, we know when not to say some things. Children, on the other hand, are exploring the language of the land. Halloween. It came fast. They would experience the Halloween carnival at the school. They would play games and drink punch. Each of them would make new friends and spend time with already made friends. Preparations for Halloween were easy for Mom. She was very adept with a sewing machine and a serger machine. Mom asked each of them what costumes they would like. It was a great way to learn about what each dreamed about. On the night before, All Hallows Eve, or Mischief Night, Dad arrived home with 4 pumpkins. 1 each for the girls and 1 for Dad. "Doesn't Mom get one too?" the oldest asked. "No," Dad replied. "Mom is working on your costumes." "Tell me What are your costumes for the carnival tomorrow night? I'm gonna be a clown. I'm gonna be a ballerina. And I'm gonna be a princess. Well, I'm gonna be a genie, Dad said. What's a genie? The youngest asked. It's someone who can grant 3 wishes. I met someone who granted me 3 wishes, Dad replied. What were they? Middle daughter asked. Dad tapped each on the head as he smiled and said, 1, 2, and 3. As they interacted, the daughters watched Dad carve the pumpkins to make jack-o'-lanterns, each having different facial characteristics. Mom approached the kitchen table as the team was finishing up with the carving. She opened a drawer and pulled out 4 stubby candles. Your costumes are finished and ready to go, Mom said. The jack-o'-lanterns are ready to go, as well, Dad said. Mom planned to wear a strange joker's hat while she handed out the treats. Dad would take his daughters around the neighborhood after the carnival. What will you say after you ring the doorbell or knock on the door? Mom asked. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Each daughter had her nails painted a different color to go with their costumes. They really loved this charade. Halloween preparations were officially completed. I will pick them up at the halfway mark. They need to go trick or treating. That is what the holiday is all about. Vincent insisted. That was fine. Belief and determination are both powerful. Maria would stay at home to hand out treats. The girls were totally amazed at the sights of this strange evening. The amazement would hit most vividly in just a few minutes. Close to home, they came upon a house with things very bizarre. Coffins were placed on the front lawn. They would periodically open and a ghoul would sit up. A real live ghoul. Then they would lay back down and pull the lid closed. A few figures in black robes wandered around, touching the trick-or-treaters on the shoulders and neck. The strobe lights flashed. Eerie music played. A witch sat at the top of the 5 steps leading into the house. She lured the children. She beckoned to them. The coffins kept opening and closing. When enough children had amassed, they would approach the witch with her big cauldron of candy. There was safety in numbers. Figures in black robes approached them and brushed by them. The coffins opened and closed. Spooky music still played. They just stood and watched for 10 minutes, all holding hands. Again, the trick-or-treaters amassed. As they cautiously approached the witch, coffins were opening and closing. Hooded, black figures continued to drift about. Fear levels were increasing rapidly. The creepy music got louder as they neared the 5 steps up to the witch. The small street was very alive on this evening. Lightning could be seen in the distance. The impending thunderstorm was about 30 minutes away. Suddenly, the front door behind the witch burst open. A man holding a chainsaw now stood behind the witch, wearing a scary mask. He pushed away the cobwebs hanging over the porch. The chainsaw immediately buzzed. Cobwebs flew in all directions. The children scattered in a panic. Save yourself. Vincent caught up with the oldest daughter 2 blocks away. His heart was pounding. Lightning was beginning to get intense. Thunder could now be heard in the distance. The girls would have about 20 minutes to continue to fill their bags with candy. They continued to hold hands as they all went house to house. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Dad's sprinting of 2 blocks had certainly raised his blood pressure. Now, as they were ending their odyssey, his blood pressure was at long last returning to normal. They were surprised along their route. Some home residents would respond to the doorbell in a costume. Some wore friendly costumes and some were threatening. Some houses were decorated creatively and some were not. They passed many strangely dressed creatures. It was surreal. So many big creatures. So many little creatures. So many scary creatures. There were witches and even Dracula. Hobgoblins, too. There were other things that they had never, ever seen. So many jack-o'-lanterns. Halloween is a magical night. Each year, Vincent would put an envelope at the front door. It contained a silver dollar. It was always given to the first trick-or-treater after 7 o'clock. The thunder indicated that the thunderstorm was imminent. For all of them, it was like no other night that they had ever known. Time to head home. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. We have lots of goodies. Hi, Mom. We went to a really scary house. By the stars in their eyes, you knew that it was like nothing that they had ever experienced in their lives. Do you want to do this again next year on Halloween? Dad asked. They each nodded yes eagerly. But only if we can go with you, Dad, the middle daughter insisted. The girls were busy surveying their treats. Trades were being negotiated. May I have one of your treats? Vincent asked the oldest. She handed him a treat. A great night for their first Halloween. Who claimed the silver dollar this time? Vincent asked. A young lady, about 8 years old. She was dressed as Cinderella. She looked great. Maria replied. Halloween is a magical night for children, and adults as well. It was only the beginning of the thrill. Buckle your seat belts, please. The thrill of it all